Most people, when they think of real estate, they think of real estate agents. If I meet somebody new and I tell them, oh, I'm in real estate. Oh, you're a real estate agent? Not quite, but that's what people think. And that's what a lot of sellers think as well when they go to sell their house. I need to call a real estate agent. And that's great. So how can you, as a real estate investor, work with and network with real estate agents to find good deals? If you think about the MLS, Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, sites like that, where all of these houses and properties are listed, there's hundreds or thousands of properties. Most of those properties are not good targets for a real estate investor. A lot of times it's a seller working with a real estate agent trying to squeeze as much money out of that property as they can. They're trying to get the highest sales price of that neighborhood. They're trying to set sales records. Real estate agents got to get paid 3, 6, 10%, whatever they're trying to do. They're getting paid. Title companies getting paid. There's a lot of people getting paid off of that one house, that piece of land, whatever the property is. Most of those are not going to qualify as good target properties for a real estate investor. However, out of thousands or hundreds of properties listed in your market on the MLS, there's a couple in there that are probably able to be good properties for a real estate investor. And that's what I want to talk to you about today in this video. If you would, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and let me know if you found any good deals on the MLS listed by an agent and what was that deal. I'll share with you one that I did a little bit later on in the video, a vacant land deal that I bought on market from a real estate agent using one of these strategies. So I'm going to talk to you about 3 or 4 strategies and how you can use those in finding good investor grade properties on the MLS. First one I talk to you about is stale listings. So these aren't expired listings, these are stale. They've just been sitting there doing nothing. And there's probably a frustrated seller behind a stale listing, because when they went in to first list this property, they said, hey, let's call a real estate agent, let's call Jenny down at the Lions Club or at the church or whoever they know that's a real estate agent. They called them and say, hey, we want to sell our rental house that we have, or we've got these lots over here that we've been sitting on forever and we just want to pay for our grandkids' college and we're going to sell those lots, or we're tired of paying property tax on these so we're going to sell them. Whatever the case may be, they called a real estate agent 90 days ago, 120 days ago to sell that property, and it hasn't sold, but it's still listed for sale. That's a stale listing. That property was either listed too high and nobody bought it. So they were gung-ho at the beginning. They thought, oh, we're going to get however much, we're going to set records for this neighborhood. The neighbors sold their house for $150,000, but ours is a little better. It's got, plants up front that are really nice. So we're going to list ours for $199,000. And it just sat there. Maybe a couple people looked at it. Maybe they had an open house. Probably the real estate agent told them, oh yeah, I got some calls on it, but nothing's really been happening. And so here it is 90 days later and nothing still happened. Those are where you can come in with a lowball offer, and it's going to be more receptive because they haven't been getting any offers on that house or on that land or on those lots. And so any sort of offer at this point is going to be welcome, and the agent may say, well, that's pretty low. And say, well, it's just been sitting there, it doesn't hurt, and even at that point, they may realize that, hey, if this is the best offer we're getting, let's take it. And so that's where I made some money on some real estate that was listed by an agent, had sat there for a while, and it was part of an estate. And these people were just trying to clear out the estate and nothing was happening. And they cut the price, and then I went in and made them a lower offer, and I ended up buying 3 lots for $45,000 when each one of those lots was worth $45,000 a piece. And they were still happy because they got to close out the estate. They got rid of the properties. The real estate agent was fine because, well, she got her commission. She had both sides of the deal. Hey, no problem for her, no problem for me, no problem for the sellers. Everybody was happy. And these were on market deals that had been listed for it. I think at the point that where we closed was probably 145 days on market. So just stale listings that they were priced too high, nobody wanted them, whatever the case may be. So look at those. And my way of looking at stale listings is if they've been on the market for more than 90 days, it's probably a stale listing. And that depends on your particular market too, what the average time it takes for a house to sell or a piece of land. And you can ask a real estate agent, hey, what's the average days on market for a house in this market? And they'll tell you, it's 40 days, 30 days, 60 days. And so if you can double that, there's definitely a stale listing. And if it's past that, it's a stale listing probably. So another thing that causes stale listings is maybe it went under contract at 45 days or something like that, and the deal fell apart. So it was pending for another 30 days or so, and then the financing fell through, or the inspections went bad, or something happened there, and now it's a stale listing because they burned up all that time trying to get it done and the deal fell apart. Inspections a lot of times reset the deal. A homeowner will come in that's going to buy a house. They'll do an inspection. The inspection will go bad. They'll say, well, we don't have the money to fix that, or we didn't realize this house had those problems, so we're no longer interested, and they'll walk away from the deal. Well, the price stays the same on the MLS. They don't readjust the price, considering that it needs a new roof, it's infested with termites, and the foundation's cracked. Well, we still want $200,000 for this $130,000 shack. Well, okay. And so now it's going to be a stale listing, and the deal fell apart once. I've seen them go 2, 3, 4 times under contract and fall back out with never a price adjustment or anything to it. So keep that in mind too when working the MLS for deals and stale listings in particular. There's also expired listings. They've just fallen off. It was listed, never got sold, and now it's gone. How I get a hold of expired listings is I just reach out to an agent that I work with in that area and say, hey, I'm not a licensed real estate agent, don't want to be. So I'll say, hey, can you send me expired listings? And so they'll send them to me on a monthly basis, just trying to get in on that deal. Hey, he'll buy, when you do business with them, they know that you're active. And so I've got some proactive ones that just send me a list every month of, hey, these are what's dropped off. And then I'll just send those people a mailer and say, hey, look, are you looking for a cash offer on your property? And then go from there. These are people that, they thought they were going to sell it. They called a real estate agent. Things didn't work out for 90 days, 6 months, whatever the listing agreement was. And they're just like, well, we don't know anymore. So call them, make a cash offer. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it is a good source of deals. A lot of times it was just the real estate agent that they were working with didn't stay proactive with that property, didn't market it right, didn't price it right, didn't follow through correctly. There's a lot of bad real estate agents out there. And as a cash buyer, you can go in and fix all of those things. A lot of times it's not even fixing the house, it's just fixing the marketing, fixing the way that property is presented to a potential buyer. And so that's the opportunity with expired listings as well. And once you develop all these relationships with different real estate agents, they'll have pocket listings or listings that they know about that they'll call you for. And they'll say, hey, I've got this deal, what do you think? And then you've got a deal flow coming to you from real estate agents and whatever other marketing that you're doing. So pocket listings are great, but another one that I've seen is a real estate agent will tell a potential client, hey, if you really want to get top dollar for this house, you need to X, Y, and Z. Paint it, clean it, throw away this, do the yard, do the landscaping. And if they're older or they're disinterested in that property, they're not going to get out there and paint the house. They're not going to clean the yard and landscape the yard and put new flooring in or paint the inside of the house. Some people say, oh, well, why don't you paint the house? That'll help it sell quicker for more money. Painting a house is not easy. You know, it's easy to say, but that's about it. You know, so a potential seller is not going to go in and do all those things that an agent told them to do. And so it just sits there and they're like, oh, okay, well, when I get it painted, I'll call you back. They're never going to paint it and they're never going to call that agent back. But if you have a relationship with those agents, say, look, I buy properties. I don't care if they need to be painted. I don't care if the yard's ugly. I don't care if the windows are broken or if it needs a new roof. I buy real estate. And then they may say, oh, you know what? I got this guy that has a house that he wants to sell. He hasn't called me back, but he may be wanting to sell that house and needs a paint job and it needs the yard done and needs whatever. And then they think of you when those kind of properties come along. And then there's an opportunity for you as well to buy those houses. Let me know if you've worked with any real estate agents in any of these strategies to buy houses, land, lots, farms, mobile homes, whatever you're buying. Drop me a comment, let me know. I appreciate you checking out the video. Check out the channel if you would, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.